Everybody knew I'd been a missionary, and lots of people would say, you know, why? Why would you have been a missionary? I had always felt like if the Lord made it clear to me to go to the mission field, that would be where I would go.
I must have said it many times, Lord, if there's ever anything you want me to do about the Aucas, you'll have to show me. I don't know how or when or where it could ever happen, but I'm available.
The missionaries in Ecuador were very aware that there was this little group of people, that spirit people. So we knew that was their lifestyle.
I believe that all 10 of us were convinced that this was what the men should do, make a friendly contact with them.
Pete and I had been reading in 2 Corinthians, and in the version I read, the 5th verse in the 5th chapter said, "He who has prepared you for this very thing is God." Now, in context, it may not have meant exactly what it meant to me that night, but I felt that God had prepared me for something here.
Roger always came home. He had been gone many, many times, and he'd always come home, and I just believed that God would do the same for us this time.
Saturday they flew out again, came back Saturday night, and Sunday, Pete, his last words, I believe, were, "Pray, girls." I don't know why he called us girls, but we were younger then. "Pray, girls, I'm sure this is the day." And it was the day. It was the day they died, but it was the day God did what his plan was. This is awful. 45 years later.
At the same time, we just felt that God was in the whole thing, and there wasn't anything that had happened that was not in the providence of God.
I just was there stunned. But I still believe God.
I began to wonder why I was there for such a short time and for this to happen. And it took years for me, looking back on that, to realize that God had a plan.
When we all went into Marge's bedroom, and Dr. Johnson told us, my first thought was, what will I do with this baby? How am I going to have Dad's baby, not have Dad? I'm not proud of that, but that was one of my first thoughts. But when it came right down to it, you deal with it. You go to the hospital, you have a baby, you're excited. He's what his father would have loved. You know, they all are.
They had their concerns for their children. You know, how do you tell children that their fathers were not coming back? I didn't have that to deal with. And so I didn't have that kind of pain. As time went on, it became more difficult because then I didn't have, there was no part of Pete. I was alone, and I felt that.
Well, you know, it's a long time ago, but I don't remember ever questioning God about it. I knew that he led us there. I knew that he led us. I knew that we wouldn't have found the houses if he hadn't shown them. They wouldn't have taken off on that Tuesday morning if there'd been rain. God could have stopped them in any number of ways. But God didn't want to stop them. God was leading them to do it. And the men wanted to give the gospel to the Indians. And sometimes I used to feel bad that they didn't really get that chance to see the gospel take seed in the Indians. But the truth is, they might not have been reached if those men had not been sacrificed.
You're kind of angry at God, but you trust him. But at the same time, there's all these emotions that come about.
He does cause grief sometimes, but he will have compassion according to his abundant loving kindness. And I felt his abundant loving kindness. I tell you, I felt his care over all these years.
The older I get, the more totally convinced I am that God does know what he's doing. He loves us with an everlasting love, and he wants us to trust him.